Heather, would you do the roll call?
Yes, Jim Whitaker,
Present.
Eric, is that you? Yeah.
Linda Barnhart,
This is
present.
Tim. We can hear each other.
Eric Goff.
Okay, that's all. I can't hear anybody else though. Yeah, I haven't heard anybody else either.
How about now? Is it better? Eric Goff, Buchanan Norton,
We've been hacked. We've been hacked by the Chinese. No, Russia. Russia.
do you want me to start again?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start the roll call again. Jim Whitaker,
Present.
Linda Barnhart,
Present.
Eric Goff,
Here.
Buchanan Norton,
Here.
Tim Lewis,
Present.
Dan Gant,
Here.
Nick Deal, and Derek Smith. I knew Nick would be absent tonight. Derek should be lucky. But we do have a quorum.
Okay.
Derek's on.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I think there's
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Whitaker to approve the agenda as submitted. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, our next item on the agenda is the Sunshine Law. Did anybody sign in for that?
No one signed in this evening.
Let the record show that there's no one here to speak under the Sunshine Law. The next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Gant to approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. We will now begin our public hearings, and the first item on the agenda for a public hearing is J.D. Rockefeller Science Tech Center.
This is a request for major plan change approval for the project J.D. Rockefeller Science Tech Center, formerly referred to as the Schwab Company. It's file number 2008-137, tied to file number 23-98. The developer is 748 Novak Drive LLC. Engineers Fox and Associates. It's located in the Arden District, map 15, parcel 24.1. This property is at 748 Novak Drive, opposite the intersection of Pilots Drive and Novak Drive. This major plan change proposes an 86,961 square foot building addition to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of completion on August 31st, 2020, and stated that the major plan change meets the requirements for approval. Since the major plan change meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends approval of the major plan change.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here to represent the project?
Good evening, Steve Simonovich with Fox and Associates representing the applicant.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments regarding this project, now's your opportunity. Please come forward, state your name, and any comments you may have regarding the project.
Anybody logged in?
Okay, let the record show that there is no public comment, so we will close the public hearing.
Public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Gant to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Stianovich or the staff?
If there are any, I move that you accept the staff recommendation and grant the approval of the major plan change.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by, let me hear it again.
Me.
Eric Goff.
I've got 2 seconds. I'll take Mr. Gant. He's right here beside me. Thank you, Eric.
Sounds good.
It's kind of hard sometimes with the delay. I have a motion from Mr. Whitaker, second from Mr. Gant to accept the staff recommendation and approve the major plan change for J.D. Rockefeller Science Tech Center. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you. When there's one big comment.
Sure.
Just want to show everybody information. This was originally done with Schwab Company in 1999. This expansion we just approved a moment ago was in fact ghosted in those drawings 20 years ago. Due to the expiration of that approval, we felt the most expeditious way to get it reapproved would be a major plan change. The reason we did what we did. Point being that that expansion was contemplated back when the building was built originally. And Schwab was out and gone and moved on. We just simply filled in the footprint of those parameters.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good to know. Okay, the next item on the agenda for public hearing is Middle Creek Manor Phase 3C.
This is a request for final plat approval. The project is Middle Creek Manor, Phase 3C, lots 400 through 442, the open space parcel A and stormwater management area A. File number 2007-030. The developer is Roger and Jerry Ayers, engineer is Gordon. It's located in the Mill Creek District, map 7, parcel 2.1. 3,000 feet southeast along Basin Drive from the intersection of Basin Drive and Shiley Road. This phase proposes 43 single-family lots on approximately 31.12 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of a signed developer's agreement, approved covenants and restrictions, and surety in the amount of $689,820.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Jason Gerhart with Gordon.
Thank you. Again, this is a public hearing for Middle Creek Manor Phase 3C. If you have questions or comments regarding that project, now's your opportunity. Please come forward, state your name, and any comments you might have regarding the project.
There's no one from the public resuming, I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Gant to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Gerhart or of the staff?
There are none. I'll make the motion. We accept staff recommendation, approve the final plat contingent upon signed developers agreement, approved covenant restrictions, and surety in the amount of $689,820.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gant, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation and approve the final plat contingent upon receipt of a signed developer's agreement, covenants and restrictions, and surety in the amount of $689,820. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I think that was a delay.
I think it's a delay. Mr. Lewis, you did mean to vote
Yes, I did. I said
favor.
yes.
Yeah. There's a little delay. It sounded like you were saying no.
Give a little bit more time to some of you.
Yeah. I have a question. The covenants and restrictions, have they been submitted yet?
We have everything that we need, they'll be initial on the developers agreement will be filled in once final plat is completed.
So we do have the covenants and restrictions.
Yeah, we like,
Okay.
From the original section.
It's the signing and filling in of the blanks.
Okay.
Now that we've
probably an addendum of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe this is the fifth phase out there. I think it's right.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is Martinsburg Land Warehouse.
This is a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Martinsburg Land Warehouse, file number 2008-147, tied to 2008-146. The developer is Martinsburg Land LLC. The engineers Pannoni Associates. It's located in the Arden District, map 18, parcel 12.3. It's off of US Route 11, Winchester Avenue, approximately 0.38 miles south of County Route 34, Nadenbush Lane. This project proposes a 1 million square foot warehouse to be served by public water and sewer. At the September 8th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance, Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1B3 for parking requirements, and to Article 7, Section 706 to not install curb in parking area. On September 30th, 2020, the county engineer, Dirk Stansberry, issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be in compliance. Since the sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Do we have anyone to represent the project, Martinsburg Land Warehouse?
Good evening, Ron Maslowski with the United.
Thank you. Again, this is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments regarding the project, please come forward, state your name, and any comments you might have.
I got a question.
Well, we're still public hearing.
I realize that, but there's a conflict on this with veterinaries and the information we got from you all. Well, there's some right-of-way issues. Richard Gay sent a letter.
Yeah,
Well, I'm on the retainer with Richard Gay right now, so I think I got a conflict. Do you
Oh.
agree?
He's
He's-
attorney.
Yes.
I don't think they're wrong.
That's fine.
Just because he's the attorney.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I don't want, my,
Go ahead.
so I'm good?
Yes.
All right.
thank you.
Sorry.
Jason?
Well, Jason Gerhardt with Gordon, I'm here representing the Trenaries who are an adjacent property owner to this development. So the Trenaries are also here this evening and basically wanted to formalize our comments on the sketch plan and how it's currently shown in the prepared for county and some of the issues that the Trenaries have. I just want to highlight a few of the things that were in the letter from Mr. Gay that I believe you've all gotten a copy of. The first issue is the entrances for Martinsburg Land are two pipe stems that go past and through the Trenary property. They own two parcels of land. And in order for them to build those entrances, that's currently shown and that's shown on the sketch plan, requires a drainage construction easement on the Trenary property that has not yet been obtained. I believe the Trenaries first became aware of this maybe a little over a month ago or so, and they came to one of the last hearings for the waiver approvals, but we're here again tonight for the sketch plan. Some of the other issues are the edge of pavement crosses onto the property corners of the Trenaries property at the frontage. The easement that I said has not been obtained, and then the entry and exit lanes are going to make it difficult for the Trenaries to make use of their property in the future. The Trenaries and the Martinsburg Land LLC have been in discussions and negotiation for a shared access easement. So they're willing to work together, but that access easement has not been final. And that was the letter for Mr. Gay's letter, was without having something finalized between the property owners and knowing that the entries, because of that, will need to change as they're currently shown on their sketch plan. This was their only opportunity to provide that public comment. There is no other public hearing at the preliminary plan stage, so this is their only opportunity. And if it advances past this, they want to make sure that they're taken care of somehow, some way. So if you were going to move forward with this, we would just ask that you make it contingent on having that shared access agreement signed between the parties, and then any requiring from the platform.
Again, Rodney Trenary, my wife Kathy, just reiterating what Jason said is that, you know, we have a lot of issues from the initial sketch that was put forth. I have obviously had a meeting with Mr. Scott at my residence. We do have a friendly mutual agreement at this point as far as changing access across my property, splitting the properties and giving them a much better access back to their warehouses. So there is a friendly discussion going on. But again, this is our only public voice to be heard. We need to go on the record that there is, I guess you could say, a conflict, even a friendly conflict at this point. We need to go on record so that before this advances to the preliminary, before you get the preliminary approval, we need to make sure that we are involved in this next step so that I can approve it. We're going to sign off.
I just
I'm
didn't want,
just
I just
learning
didn't want to
this
muddy the waters for y'all if it was going to bad conflict.
No, at this point, everything's friendly.
Well, that's good.
It's mutual.
That's good.
You know, but we want to make sure that everybody's happy, everybody's comfortable.
Right.
Making sure that as you all progress, that you are informing us what's going on and what stages we need to be involved. Okay?
That's fair.
Appreciate Mr. Scott and you all getting together to try to accommodate this project.
Do you have anything that you want to respond to Mr. Trenary with at the moment?
That's okay.
Sure, yeah.
You want me to just sit down or?
No, you can,
Okay.
you can stand there.
Yes, ma'am. We did, Ed Scott is Martin's birthday, and we did meet 10 days ago or so to talk about this. And I think there is no real issue with working together to make this mutually beneficial to everybody. It's difficult for us to commit to granting a shared access easement because, as Jason mentioned, we need easements from Mr. and Mrs. Trenary as well. So as long as everybody's both going to work
agrees.
together and we're going to get easements, then we don't have any problem with shared access and boundary line adjustments and everything else. But that's a two-way proposal, so I don't think it would be fair to make us commit to dedicating an easement to Mr. Trenary without them committing to dedicate easements to us. Now, I'll just mention that, you know, if we need easements for this project, we need to have all of those signed and recorded before you guys even see it again. So if we need easements for improvements to Route 11 or for disturbance of Mr. Trenary's property or properties across the street or properties next door, all those easements have to be in place and approved by the planning staff and then recorded before we can even come back to you with a preliminary plan.
I would hope so.
And further, well, it's a requirement now of the
Yeah.
preliminary plan process. And further, if we do the boundary line adjustment and adjust the lots as Jason has been working on and which we agreed to, then that is a separate application to the planning staff to get that subdivision approved and recorded before we can come back to you for preliminary plan. So we can't even come back and see you unless we have Mr. Trenary's blessing on everything that we're doing.
Okay, and you understand that then, Mr. Trenary? Well, it's good to get those things ironed out early on rather than to
No,
wait until there's a court issue.
no, and
We were just running out of time.
Right. You're all trying to move forward, but yeah. I understand.
we've got other requirements with our site that are tied to the Clorox site that we got to move
I
forward.
just wish they contacted me 2 months ago. I had to search them out.
Yeah,
So contingent upon those easements needed, is that going to suffice both parties if we make that motion? According to legal.
I don't think we can stop a,
I don't
Sketch
think
plan.
we can do that.
Okay.
Get something to go with that. You know, your staff, if what is being proposed causes adjustment to actually plan, you have two instances of two separate branches. But the proposing plan is pretty much do away with one and bring everything they said is correct, pointed out, I mean, they don't have, all those things have to fall in place, before we can grant preliminary plat anything. I'm just
That won't stop us.
adding to what I think he's going, we need to have something pretty substantial that says the sketch plat we're approving tonight isn't right.
I see what you're saying. If we approve this and it changes, it's not the approved sketch plan then.
Well, and that's why it's a sketch, because we know the sketches can change
That's
between
correct, and
sketches.
that's why we needed the huddle, because normally these little adjustments don't alter property.
So usually,
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
as you say, that's a little bit different than what we've done before, and we've even made people go through preliminary finals to create boundaries before they were able to go forward with the plat.
No, I was just gonna say because of title restrictions, those have to be issued and approved before the sketch plat, its future design is active.
And in this case, it sounds like a boundary line adjustment, because they're not creating new lots, they're moving lot lines.
Okay.
I agree with that.
So, yeah, it'll be required
You have
prior.
that note that needs to be.
Well, you,
So the approval would be contingent on boundary lines adjustments, not so much approval.
because you're just moving one, you're taking one easement and you're moving that over to the original lot and then you're just widening the other one.
And they haven't worked that out yet,
Right.
so it's contingent on something, but we don't know exactly what they're gonna work out.
Jason does, he's still up.
We're still in the public hearing comments.
Yeah, let's close public
So,
hearing if there's nobody else.
He had something else in mind.
Do you want?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna suggest, I mean, we were trying to give them a contingency so they could still move forward as opposed to having them be delayed
Right,
several weeks.
that's what we're trying to figure out.
So,
I don't know what's gonna change in something from where we are right now. I mean, if the contingency is gonna satisfy the Trinary says we're gonna grant a shared access easement, and it doesn't address anything about easements along Route 11 that are needed, access easements, drainage easements, and all those other things, we can't do that. We can't commit to granting the Trinaries an easement without some reciprocal, conveyance on their behalf. And if it can't be worked out, we'll never come back with it.
Well, I think they're saying they are okay with all that, as long as, nothing, they're back there shaking their head, yeah, I mean.
Okay, well then, I don't know why we need a contingency, because all that's gonna be required from there.
That's what I was getting at a minute ago. It's already required. It's just a sketch plan. And if we're just doing boundary line adjustments, we're not making it.
All we're approving with the sketch plan is a use, so that we feel confident going forward with preliminary plan and
Okay.
working out easements and doing all that other, until Mr. Scott starts spending a lot of money on the project, so.
I see it that way too.
Do you have anything else to add for the public comment?
yeah, I was gonna add, just somehow, as long as the record acknowledges that, there may be changes, so that's, like I said, what you're approving tonight is not gonna be what it ultimately looks like, because it's just a sketch. So, that was both parties gotta agree, obviously, we don't wanna hold it up, at the same time, we want them to be able to have an opportunity to be involved in it. I don't know how you can put that in legal terms at this point, if it's even necessary.
I don't think it's necessary.
It's not necessary, and I mean, you can put in the minutes if you want that
Yeah.
there are issues that are gonna need, addressed, and this sketch
Preliminary. Sketch
is not what
preliminary.
it's gonna look like. Yeah.
I think
But
that's
you
on
can't
most every
put
sketch plan.
all these contingencies on it.
Yeah, okay.
I agree with that.
Okay, if there's no further comments, I'm ready for a motion to close public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Some of,
Motion by Mr. Gant, I'll take a second from you, Mr. Goff, for closing the public hearing. All those in
Good.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing's closed. Okay, now that we can get into the discussion. Planning Commission members, do you have any other questions or comments?
I think we already discussed it all pretty good.
I think so too.
If there are none, I'll make the motion, we accept, engineer's report to advance the sketch plan to preliminary plan stage.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Gant, second by Mr. Whitaker, to accept staff recommendation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Good job, everyone.
Thank you.
Mr. Whitaker, would you mind peeking out and letting them know we're ready?
I don't know about this Dan Ryan on the sketch plan. Oh my God,
Gonna be above 25?
maybe I should.
You had 10 seconds.
Try to.
You ready?
All right, the next item on the agenda for a public hearing is Archer's Rock.
This is a request for sketch plan advancement. Project is Archer's Rock, Section 3A, file number 2008-145. The developer's DR Acquisitions LLC, engineers Gordon. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 16A, parcel 49. It's located at Knocking Point Boulevard, approximately 700 feet south of the Cumbo Road, Harlan Spring Road intersection, and approximately 1.7 miles north of the Hedgesville Road, Harlan Springs Road intersection. Project proposes 36 single-family townhome lots on approximately 4.9 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On September 30th, 2020, the county engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be in compliance. Since the sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Jason Gerhart with Gordon, also Matt Powell with Dan Ryan.
Okay. All right, again, this is a public hearing for Archer's Rock, Section 3A. If you have questions or comments regarding, please come forward. I would ask that we don't repeat the same concerns over. So if the first person wants to come up and speak, now's your opportunity.
And if you could sign in to the public hearing sheet as you speak.
You gonna speak, Dirk? I wanted to hear that speech.
No one wishes to speak regarding Archer's Rock?
We trying to figure out what section 3A is.
Oh,
The one that's being approved to Archer's Rock tonight, it's townhouse section.
Okay, the new section.
You can come up here and look at it.
Okay.
You want, no, you wanna see it? You can come up here and look, I'll show you where it's at. It's right there.
Okay, where they building a new road and all that, they're coming up now, the one that they building now? Or,
No, you're all not building this now because it's not approved, no.
oh, so we getting them more townhouse somewhere else, so. Yeah, okay.
I think this is the section they're building right now. You're all building 3 now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, finishing through, that's
Where
fine.
exactly is 3A located? Is it out toward the Bethel building?
Do you want to come up to the front and make your comments, please?
It comes,
Yeah, and section 3A is located between section 3 and section 1,
Just
in
give your
between
name.
the towns and the single family.
it just follows the street straight.
This is what you're talking about right here.
Correct.
So.
Oh, wait a minute, wait.
Double boulevard
Sir.
that used to be coming in the neighborhood, is turning into townhouses.
Sir, please give your name for the
My
record.
name is Kevin Kelly.
Okay, thank you.
You need
Now-
to make it clear to the homeowners
Okay.
as to what you're doing. You're taking over what was actually roadway and putting in townhouses. So the double boulevard that comes into the neighborhood, then that ends into that fence. Behind that fence, they're gonna put townhouses. That's what section 3A is. Instead of doing the double boulevard, that no longer exists.
speak, address.
I'm addressing people that live in the neighborhood that need to know the answer as to what 3A is. And I disagree with it, I'm against it. None of the amenities of the community were ever built out. They shrunk the roads, they turned roads that were supposed to go through into cul-de-sacs. So no, I'm against it completely. I wanna know where the savings is going. Now that Dan Ryan is purchasing land that was supposed to be roads, where does that money go? Who gets that? The community? Anybody?
We got more.
Answer? None?
Jason, do you want to address any of this? Mr. Powell, do you want to address any of these comments?
This is, I don't know if you guys recall, but my name's Matt Powell. A while back, the Orchard Drop was basically left for dead.
Yeah.
The developer bailed, it went to bankruptcy, the note was sold, the bank took over, the note was sold. There was two portions of this project. And the larger portion, that was undeveloped, was sold off to a farmer and will most likely, could potentially never be developed. And the existing community was sold off to a developer out of Nebraska. It languished for a long, long time while the bond was called by the county. And the bond money, once the bond money finally got, bond issues got worked out with the county, money sat in there. Griffin Realty was the group who owned the property at the time. Griffin Realty worked a deal out with us. There were about, I want to say 30 finished single family lots on the ground and a handful of townhome lots. We worked a deal out with them to start buying them to finish the community out. The remaining community was left undeveloped and in a pretty big state of disrepair. There were dead end roads that went in the property that didn't own anymore. There was unfinished ponds. There were rock piles everywhere. So Griffin came to us. They had no intention to complete the development. They're basically an investment group, and they said, "Hey, we don't have enough money to finish this. It's upside down. You guys want to buy it?" And at that time, I approached Norwood. We sat down and with Heather and her, and we put together a development agreement and a plan to complete the community. Because the community originally was 500 homes, 500 to 600 homes, and now it's about 200. Let's say 200 to 300. It's about half. So the roads and the boulevard and all those things will never be built. So what we ended up coming up with were cul-de-sac in the roads, a few of the roads, and terminating some of those. And then we took the boulevard area, which is about 4 to 5 acres, which is what you're seeing today, and we turned it into 36 counties. All of this which was the HOA was brought into, and in this year, February 26th, we had an annual HOA meeting, sat down, and the entire community was invited, and I presented it, and had got comments and feedback, so this is no surprise. And at that time, Then that's when we ratified the development agreement after the HOA meeting, very clear and upfront about it. Part of our agreement is for us to pay for the completion of all the roads on the front. So we're doing all the curb repair, and I think next week we start all the surface paving. So all your roads will be complete within the next couple of weeks, which has been sitting there for 15 years.
There's where the money went.
So this, what you see before you, is part of the development agreement, and it's just the fulfillment agreement.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, does that make it more clear to you?
No, it does not make it clear because they're stating that they are finishing the roads when the county bond is what is actually finishing the roads. The bond money that came back to the county after the county had sued for the bond that they got back. Dan Ryan is not finishing the roads,
Just-
that bond money is finishing the roads.
Just because the county pulls a bond don't mean they necessarily use the money. If another developer comes in, buys the project and agrees to finish it, then we allow them to agree to
And where
finish
does the
it.
money go to the county?
It goes back to the bonding company. What do you think we put in our pockets?
Somebody,
Yeah, well, I mean,
To be clear, there was not enough money in the bond proceeds to finish the community asphalt.
nah.
And would have never been finished the way it was designed. That's why nobody touched it and would have left it the same way it
I'm
was.
against building townhouses on that plot.
Hey, Mr. Powell, since I actually have a question.
Can I have your name for the
I'm
record?
Joyce Knight, I'm the owner of, the home on 52 on
And if you
Rogan
could
Drive.
sign in on those sheets as well for our records.
What did you say your last name was?
Nyan.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm curious because apparently you are not a person of your word, and I say that to be factual. So I purchased my home under the assumption that I would get the land that's on my right hand side up to 30 feet. In writing, that was offered to me free of charge from you, then Ryan, Lauren, the consultant. Now, after I signed and bought this home, to my great surprise, all of that went off the table. Suddenly, it became that I had to pay money to have a laundry line that doesn't make. Suddenly, I was told that you're gonna give my property now to issue aid as a designated overflow for parking spaces. Y'all ever knew that we're gonna have an overflow parking space next to my house? Because I definitely never purchased that lot, had I known it was gonna become a parking lot. So it seems then run her reputation of making false promises, just to entice people. Here I am, a single mom, worked tirelessly hard to purchase a home, almost $400,000, only for you guys to make me a promise of getting this additional land. And now when I sign the home and get the home, move in after closing on May 29, when I reach out to you, you ignore you kept on stalling me, saying, oh yeah, we got it, you're gonna have the additional land. My engineering, I'm speaking with him directly, forbid him their text my house. That's why I asked what his name was, so I can know who it was, and it was you. So I'm with Mr. Kelly, who's in opposition of this townhome. They're trying to make it all flavorful and it's seasonal, all good for you guys, and presenting to you guys, for us, the resident, I paid the money there, they're not fulfilling it in the bargain. So I've been trying to get a hold of Mr. Powell, I've been trying to get hold of his superior, no one's reaching back out to me. So apparently, and then when I try to contact attorneys on this matter, apparently they have contracted all the attorneys around here. So now it created a conflict of interest. So I'm unable to get anyone to go to court about this matter. So I wanna know why you promised me this land, and now suddenly telling me I cannot have the land anymore. Instead, you're gonna gift it to HOA, who is not your customer, and now it's gonna become an overflow parking lot, which is nowhere on the map. I'm very educated with my degree. Nowhere on the map does it ever show an overflow parking lot. The land was supposed to be a stock road, and then y'all changed your mind, y'all still gonna do it to me. I accepted it, and now I haven't gotten the property. So, what's the plan there?
I'm not sure this is part of the discussion
Oh,
here tonight.
whether it's part of it or
Will you
not,
let me
it goes
respond?
to
Will you
show
let me
your
respond?
integrity.
Will you let me respond? When did you sign your contract here?
You not know the data, the steps and everything else?
November 20th, 2019. I sent out an internal email. There's a road stub that goes beside that property. Sent out an email a month past that. She'd already signed her contract. Sent out an internal email and said I may be able to roll this into this piece of land into this lot if it hasn't been sold. The salesperson forwarded that email to her. She took it as, oh, I bought that lot so I can have it because of that land. Then I did say that if we did this during a boundary line adjustment, if we did boundary line adjustment plat, if it worked out, you could have that piece of land, I would clean that area up. Fortunately, that land is in a separate plat. It would cost us $3,000 to do it. Said, I'll still give you the land, but you need to pay for the engineering. You can do so. That's where we're at.
Inaccurate.
Not
Right here,
inaccurate.
right here again, because I would take the land off your hand and retain the land in black and white. Because again, it's not free land. This is 40 feet of land that some visual is not maintaining. I'm now paying on a weekly basis $75 to have a landscaper come and remove that on a weekly basis. But I have a little one and there's snakes and other things in our property, it's not being retained. So I'm already taking the financial burden cost on it. Making the neighborhood look very much presentable compared to how it looked before I moved in. So I'm giving value to the neighborhood for free. My thing is if you offer somebody something and you tell them to stick to your word. You know what I'm saying? We just want you guys to stick to your word, be credible, be accountable. So how are we to agree to 36 townhomes and other things in the development when you all have not given us the evidence that was promised to people from years ago? You haven't given me the new buyer that came in with one of the biggest in the community that you're claiming y'all got myself. So y'all enticed me to get all this. I did my end of the bargain. Y'all got my money. Where's mine? So, and I told you, please show me a breakdown of how you derived at $3,500. You just pull a ballpark figure out of your pocket. How? I told you the breakdown. And I also told you.
Yeah, right here, you can stop it outside.
No, we
Look,
don't need it. So
this has nothing to do with what we're here
it really does, because you keep trying to push one in the rug. Oh, it doesn't. You want people to say yes, yes, yes. We can't say yes, yes, but you have property boundary line that goes to other people's property. There's so many issues in our neighborhood that you guys overlook.
It's not,
But anyone just like that, again, like I said, his ethics is questionable. That is why my rest of my colleagues and residents in the neighborhood are subjected to this, because we don't believe that what Ryan stands for is an integrity. It's questionable, okay?
thank you very much. Do you have anything else you wish to say, Mr. Gerhart?
Believe so.
Pardon?
I said I don't believe so.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak regarding the project? Okay, let's close the public hearing.
Make the motion to close public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Gant to close the public hearing. Who gave me a second? Was that Mr. Lewis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, you've heard, oppositions. You've heard Mr. Powell's, comments. You've heard Mr. Gerhart. Do you have questions that you want to propose to, the staff or of, the applicant?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Is there was there amenities that were proposed for this subdivision that were?
Like I said, the community was originally planned and developed by another developer. It was 600 units, and there was amenities that were planned in the future, but they were sold. All that parcel of land, everything was sold off. It was planned for it was sold off by United Bank years ago. So it's farmland, and it was never up for us to purchase to do it. So there's going to be, I think, a maximum build out, but I think it would be like 300. I don't think it's close to 300. So there's no place to put them in. support the amendment of the plan for $600.
What we're hearing tonight is for 36 single-family townhome lots.
When we purchased the land, all the lots were platted out, except for these 36 lots. And the way we could pay for the finish, the development work, was to add a few more lots in the area that was planned for a 100-foot wide boulevard. That was never gonna be boulevard to nowhere. Right now, it's a boulevard. It's a huge entrance road, it's 22-foot wide on both sides. So, we sat down with staff, we sat down with the county attorney at the time, Norwood, and came up with cost estimates and plans and said, this is how we can make it work.
To complete the roads and fix all the broken curbs and all that.
The road work alone, with the way the road is falling apart and over time, it's $350,000 work just for the existing roads. Barely. And the development, to complete the development work we got now, is another $1.2 million. So, there wasn't enough money in the bond money to complete the development as it was. We estimated it to be around $2.7 million to complete everything the way it was originally designed. The only way we can make it work is to eliminate some roads that were unnecessary and to close on the cul-de-sac streets. And gave the residents plenty of opportunity to comment about this many times. Norwood was in direct contact with the HOA. I was in direct contact with the HOA, had a big meeting, invited everybody, and about 20 people showed up by the time.
So this information was brought up in one meeting.
No problem.
Meeting in February when I was sick. Unfortunately, I had cancer and still do. And unfortunately, I couldn't make that meeting.
Well, if I could email it out to everyone, on top of that, they had the plans, I provided the plans, and they emailed it to residents, much they communicated.
The HOA didn't even share what the outcome of that meeting.
I don't.
No.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Planning Commission members, do you have additional questions? If not, well, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make the motion, we accept staff recommendation and grant the approval for our sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Motion by Mr. Gant to accept staff recommendation and advance the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Second, Tim Lewis.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there anyone in the commission that is opposed to this process moving forward? Motion passed. All right, next item on the agenda is Stonecrest PUD.
This is a request for preliminary plan approval. The project number, or the project name is Stonecrest PUD, Lot C-6. File number 2007-069, tied to file number 18-20. The developer is Straight Arrow LLC. The engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Hedgesville District, map 28, parcel 7, on the west side of Cerritos Trail, approximately 230 feet south of Severna Parkway. This project proposes the development of 180 storage units on approximately 2.04 acres. The project does not propose water or sewer utilities. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 2nd, 2020, the county engineer issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be in compliance. Since the plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends advancement of the preliminary plan to the final plat stage.
Do you have anyone to represent the project?
Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates representing the county.
Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Stoyanovich or of the staff regarding the project?
If there aren't any, I move to accept staff recommendation and advancement of the preliminary to the final plat stage.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Gant, to accept staff recommendation and to advance the preliminary plan to the final plat stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Dollar General Inwood.
This is a request for preliminary final plat approval. Project is Dollar General Inwood, file number 2007-020, tied to project number 57-19. The developer is Cross Development LLC, engineers Tectonics Design Group. It's located in the Arden District, map 18, parcel 34, on the east side of Winchester Avenue, US Route 11, approximately 200 feet northeast of the existing 7-Eleven between Nadenbush Lane and Corning Way. This project proposes a 9,100 square foot Dollar General commercial building to be served by public water and sewer. At the August 3rd, 2020 Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission voted to approve a waiver to section 305.4.1 requiring a minimum of 2 acres to proceed through the prelim final process. County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of approval on October 14th, 2020, stating a review of this project had been completed and was found to be in compliance. Since the project is complete and compliant with 2009 subdivision ordinance, staff recommends approval of the preliminary final plat.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Mike Roberts, represents the project.
Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Roberts or the staff regarding Dollar General?
If there aren't any, I move to accept staff
You're
recommendation.
doing Dollar General?
I set the center line access points for the DOH entry, and I did the going construction layout.
Okay, all right, because you're on the next, I thought maybe you were jumping ahead of me.
I'm not quite that senior yet.
We never know.
You said yes.
We never know, we never know.
I regret I resemble that remark.
Okay, did I hear a motion start?
Yes, I started
Okay,
to recommend the approval of the preliminary final plat.
I'll second.
motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Gant, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to, approve the preliminary final plat for Dollar General. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is Red Hill Section 1, Phase 9.
This is a request for final plat determination. Project is Red Hill, Section 1, Phase 9, lots 294 to 310, file number 2007-081, tied to 33-05. The developer is Phil Koger Investments, surveyors Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Hedgesville District, map 28, parcel 46, on West Virginia County Route 4, Ridge Road. Final plat proposes the development of 17 single-family lots on approximately 3.9 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested for this phase. County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter on October 6, 2020, stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be in compliance. Since the final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the November 16th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, Mr. Roberts.
Mike Roberts, represents the project.
Planning Commission members, do you have questions?
There are none. I'll make the motion. We approve the final plat determination, advertising of the public hearing for consideration of the final plat approval on November 16th, 2020, the Planning Commission meeting.
Motion by Mr. Motion, Mr. Gantz, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation and to consider final plat approval at the November 16, 2020 planning commission meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is Overlook at Riverside, Phase 3.
This is a request for final plat determination. The project is Overlook at Riverside, Phase 3, lots 21 through 23, 113 to 116. I believe that's a typo. That should not be 1947 to 213 and 230 to 243. The file number is 2008-166 tied to number 70-05. The developer is Rotz Family Limited Partnership. The engineers Frederick Seibert and Associates. It's located in Falling Waters District, Map 7, parcel 160.3. Located on the east side of Williamsport Pike, US 11, and south of I-81. This project proposes 41 single-family lots, 7 detached and 34 attached, on approximately 4.49 acres to be served by public water and sewer. On April 2nd, 2018, the Planning Commission granted the developer the following deviation for a planned unit development. 1, direct access to boulevard will not be permitted. 2, sidewalk to be placed on north side of boulevard. 3, plant fast-growing trees as a buffer between Brookfield and Overlook at Riverside. On September 16, 2019, the Planning Commission granted the developer a waiver to Article 8, Section 801, Table 8-1A, reducing the required parking for multifamily dwellings, with a minimum of 1.86 spaces per unit being provided. County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter on October 8, 2020, stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be compliant. Since the final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the November 16, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. And I believe Ed Schreiber was going to call in. You gonna make me read all that again?
No. It's on the record.
Yeah, it's recorded.
Got a hammer in the truck, take care of that thing.
Boot, you can reboot it.
Reboot it.
Jeez, all the comedians
We like
out of
technology.
work.
We're technology people over here. That's about as technical as I get. That's right.
You just
I'm glad I draw lines and polygons and things like that. It just said bye-bye.
Yeah.
Corey asked if we would go over an hour, and I said it's possible. So.
Didn't matter, Dustin changed everything before I could ever.
Is there any
Okay.
questions that anybody has?
No.
You need to do yours out. Here, somebody.
That's me. Reconnected.
Okay, planning commission members, do you have any questions of the staff?
Nope.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll move to accept staff recommendation and
Welcome to Zoom.
Yeah.
Enter your meeting ID.
That's all I need.
Did you second?
Yep.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Gant, to accept staff recommendation and to,
The meeting has not started. Please wait or try again later.
and to consider final plat approval at November 16, 2020 planning commission meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
We don't have anybody.
We don't have anything.
Yeah, that's good.
That's cool.
Yep.
Okay,
Moving on.
we don't have a quorum then?
I heard 'em.
Anything on the side for?
No, they got disconnected.
Let me call Derek.
I can't even launch the meeting again.
I'll put him on speaker. That'll give us a quorum on it.
Need 5.
Get your phone out.
Are on there, so.
Get your phone out. We'll get a quorum real quick.
And,
I can call Tim.
I was gonna second.
I got Derek.
They won't even let the new meeting start.
You better keep them on then because we have
Yeah, I got speaker on Derek,
two
so.
more projects.
Hey, I'm gonna leave you on speaker on my phone so we can finish this meeting.
Is that Derek?
Derek Smith.
I see them all there. Can we try
Looks
again?
like it popped back up. I don't know if it's working or not.
Derek said it popped back up on his side.
You want me to dial in again?
You can see that.
I can see it.
He's gonna try to dial it back in, Derek. Just hang tight for a
What's that?
second. He's gonna try to dial it back in. Just hang tight for a second.
Okay. I think I'm back on Zoom.
You back up? We could just go ahead and approve him, put him on the board.
Think we need more than me.
Yeah, we do need a few extra for that, don't we?
Do we have Tim Lewis there?
No, he didn't answer. I'm calling Eric.
I did my part. I got Derek.
Yeah, you better go with the phones because I can't see the screen to get the,
I'm a Maryland number, so they might not answer.
I can only call one person at a time.
yeah.
Well, you probably can do different on my phone, but I'm not smart enough to work it that far.
If I can,
You can do group calls on them things, but I don't know how to do it.
put them on hold.
Is that what you do?
It's just sticking to
The
me.
wireless customer you are
I just lost it again.
I can't keep the meeting up, sorry guys. Gals.
Yep. They know your number, Linda. They know your number. So
Okay, we need your vote here, for a quorum. And we have, it's on the Rotz Family Limited Partnership, Overlook at Riverside. Have a motion on the floor by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Gant, to accept the staff recommendation. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Motion.
Stay on, don't hang up.
Don't hang up.
Don't hang up, we got one more project. We've lost the Zoom process.
We got two more.
Yeah, we were kind of talking to each other and realized that.
Yeah, okay, the next item on the agenda is Cardinal Point.
Is a request for final plat determination for Cardinal Point, Section 1, Phase 3, lots 342 to 257 and 408 to 419. File number 2010-276, tied to 048-18. Developers Panhandle Homes, engineers Fox and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 9, parcel 11. It's located along the north side of Hammonds Mill Road, west of St. Andrews Drive. This phase proposes 28 single-family villa-style lots on approximately 7.2 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the November 5th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting, Planning Commission voted to grant a waiver to allow 3 on-site parking spaces instead of 2 on-site and 1 off-site. At the September 16th, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, Planning Commission voted to grant a waiver to Section 502.1 of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance relating to the requirement of 2 points of access onto a public road or a West Virginia Department of Highway right-of-way for a development of 100 lots or greater. The approval is contingent on having bonding of Serena Drive encumbered by the authorized access road. No reduction and or release of that surety on Serena Drive until the temporary serviceable road is built. On October 13th, 2020, County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of completion and found the project to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. Since the final plat meets the requirements of the ordinance, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the November 16th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates representing the applicant.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich or of the staff?
I have none, but I'll make a staff recommendation, I'll accept the staff recommendation. And, find the final plat determination and advertising for public hearing on November the 16th, 2020.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Gant, to accept staff recommendation and conduct a public hearing for final plat approval on November 16, 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passed.
Thank you.
One more project. And that is Stonecrest PUD.
This is a request for final plat determination, Stonecrest PUD Phase 4, lots 237 to 260, file number 22-15. The developer's Straight Arrow LLC, engineers Fox and Associates. It's located in the Hedgesville District, map 28, parcels 17, 17.1, 17.2, and 17.4. It's located on the west side of West Virginia Route 9, within the Stonecrest subdivision, on the east side of Cerritos Trail and south of Dunkin' Donuts. Project proposes 24 townhomes on approximately 3.65 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. County engineer issued a letter of completion on October 14th, 2020, and stated that the preliminary plan meets the requirements to advance. Since the final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the November 16th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Do you have anyone to represent the project?
Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates representing the project.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich or of the staff?
There are none. I'll make the motion. We accept staff recommendation and consider the final plat approval, advertising the final plat approval on November 16th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gant, second by Mr. Whitaker, to accept staff recommendation and conduct a public hearing for final plat approval on November 16, 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Staff council, discussion, action, motion. Anthony?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Anthony?
I just have one item. We have our quarterly developers roundtable meeting this Friday morning. So I will be sending out a Zoom invitation for that to do an overview of our one-stop Llama software and how things look from the web access. I didn't want to confuse it with this meeting, so I wanted to wait until it was over to send it out, but I'll be working on that tomorrow and getting the information and the word out this week.
If there's nothing else, we're ready for it.
Yeah, my only statement would be, and I probably should have made it during the public hearing, but there's not usually a dialogue given. With Archer, referring to Archer's Rock and the disgruntled homeowners, I'm not putting the onus on anybody or the blame on us, but I do believe that their HOA lacked in notifying the current homeowners of the changes that were.
Well, and some of them might have been notified and just blowed it off too. We don't know that.
Well, that's true. And all of a
Yeah,
sudden
but if they
it becomes
had a majority of homeowners there, it's like a quorum to me. I mean,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, I think the ones that
we're upset because they felt like they missed out on something.
Yeah.
Well, I think too that project lay dormant for so long.
It did.
And they may have
It's a blessing in
regarded
disguise.
regarded it as nothing's ever gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then, oops, something happened and Dan Ryan's name's attached to it, so it's a time to complain. You know, it's a sad
It's
situation.
unfortunate, but yet.
It was years getting that
It was
decision.
years getting
Yeah.
our legal department to be
Right.
able to get Lexon charged to come off of the bond on 2 different subdivisions.
Right, yeah.
I remember all that.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we're ready for adjournment.
Make the motion, we adjourn.
Motion with Mr. Gant to
Second.
adjourn, second with Mr. Whitaker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you so much. I'm sorry to be a pain tonight. Thank you, Vicki.
Thanks, Derek.
Hey, no problem. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.